Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. I'm Andrew Knox in for Gordon today. A powerful storm system killed more than 36 people across 8 states over the weekend.
Well, the deadly combination of tornadoes, dust storms, and wildfires also destroyed hundreds of homes and businesses. Dale Hurd has the story.
It was utter devastation in parts of the nation's heartland. Dozens of tornadoes over the weekend left a path of destruction across 8 states, from Missouri to Alabama.
All she could say was, "Mama, her house is gone. It's leveled, and it's leveled."
Near Mobile, Alabama, there were at least 3 dead, including Anita Owen's mother.
You wouldn't think just a wind and tornadoes would do this much devastation.
In Talladega County, Alabama, this school bus looked like a toy tossed against the side of Winterboro High School. At this RV resort in Mississippi, miraculously, no one was hurt. In Georgia, a tornado was confirmed west of Atlanta.
It sounded like a war zone.
All you heard were things flying around, hitting the side of the house, glass shattering.
In Arkansas, the National Guard was deployed after an EF3 tornado packing 165-mile-per-hour winds flattened buildings.
You can feel the pressure, hear the intensity.
The highest death toll was in Missouri, with at least a dozen lives lost.
Something hit the side of the truck. Just flipped it over. And
this man had to rescue his aunt after her home was leveled.
She was trapped in that bedroom, only room standing left of this house. She was trapped in it. We got her out the window. We found a few bodies that was out in the field, a few deceased people. But it was a rough night. It was a really rough night.
Winds from the same storm even created wildfires in Oklahoma, leaving at least 4 people dead and 400 homes damaged. In Bakersfield, Missouri, townfolk have come together to help one another.
Members of the community have just been great. They've been coming in and bringing stuff all day long, and we're filling the church building up, so we're going to have it open and ready for anybody that needs something.
This man played Amazing Grace outside his home, lost to fire, vowing to rebuild. The severe weather has moved into the Northeast, with high winds and heavy rain expected across New York and New England today. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thank you, Dale. As the week concluded last week, this storm was predicted. People were warned, but the U.S. is used to tornadoes this time of year. Not many predicted hurricane-force winds and wildfire. In Alabama, there was damage in 52 of the 67 counties and terrible car wrecks, lives lost in Texas and Kansas due to dust storms. So we will keep the entire region in prayer and keep you updated. In the Middle East, U.S. warplanes pounded Houthi rebel targets in Yemen over the weekend. The Trump administration also warned Iran to stop funding their proxy army or suffer consequences. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more.
Dozens of U.S. airstrikes and missile strikes on Houthi targets over the weekend in Yemen left at least 50 people dead, the rebels claim. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says Houthi leaders are among the dead.
This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out.
The attacks came after the Houthis warned they're about to start hitting ships in the Red Sea and other nearby waters again. Since the start of the war in Gaza, the Houthis have disrupted global shipping and cost billions of dollars with attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea. They've also targeted U.S. warships. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Fox News.
4 months ago, when we sent a ship through, it was shot at 17 times. Ships haven't been able to go through for over a year without being shot at. Freedom of navigation is basic. It's a core national interest.
On Truth Social, President Trump declared, "No terrorist force will stop American commercial and naval vessels from freely sailing the waterways of the world." Trump also warned Iran to stop backing the Houthis, writing, "Beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it." U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says America is doing the world a favor.
What we can't ignore, and the reason why the president mentioned Iran, is because the Iranians have supported the Houthis. They've provided them intelligence, they've provided them guidance, they've provided them weaponry.
The Iranians are defiant, claiming the U.S. and its allies are panicking in the face of Muslim nations standing together. The Houthis warned they will retaliate and claim to launch drone and ballistic missile attacks against a U.S. carrier in the region. But the Navy denies the attack and said they did not come near any U.S. ships. As for the war in Gaza, President Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, laid out a proposal for Hamas to free up to 11 more hostages in exchange for more Palestinian prisoners. But Hamas's reply has been rejected by both Israel and the U.S.
I'm not going to go into the specific details of what made it unacceptable. I think there's an opportunity for them, but the opportunity is closing fast.
Witkoff said of the terror group stalling, Hamas is making a very bad bet that time is on its side. It is not.
What happened with the Houthis yesterday, what happened with our strike ought to inform as to where we stand with regard to terrorism and our tolerance level for terrorist actions. And I would encourage Hamas to get much more sensible than how they have been.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now for more. Welcome, Chris. Chris, what's Israel's reaction to the U.S. attack on the Houthis?
Well, before I get to that, I just want to say happy St. Patrick's Day, Andrew, to everyone listening as well. War, the reaction, there's no official reaction. I just heard from the Prime Minister's office, and they said there's no official reaction. However, Israel is on high alert right now for a possible attack by the Houthis. I just came back earlier today from Tel Aviv, not far from where a Houthi drone wounded about 16 people not too long ago. And since October 2023, Andrew, Houthis have fired at least 200 missiles and about 170 drones against Israel. Most have been intercepted. And Israel, in the meantime, has hit key infrastructure at least twice in Yemen. But as I said, no official reaction right now from Israel.
All right, there's Israel's take. What about Iran? What does this attack signal to Iran itself?
Andrew, I don't think this could be any clearer. And it says, don't support the enemies of the U.S. or global shipping. And some people may say, you know, to Iran, you're next. There's a new sheriff in town. There's a new administration that's not afraid to use military action when they feel it's necessary. And I think the U.S. right now is going to be there as long as it takes to make sure the Houthis no longer pose a threat to either U.S. warships or global shipping, and remind some here of how President Trump dealt with ISIS during his first term. He changed the rules of engagement. He decimated ISIS's leadership, and ISIS lost 100% of its territory of the caliphate. And I think this is sending a clear message not only to the Houthis, but Iran as well.
Chris, in Julie's report, she featured Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and he warned Hamas it should take note of the U.S. response to the Houthi terrorists. How might the U.S. take action against Hamas?
Well, they might take military action, Andrew, in coordination with Israel. But, Andrew, the sticking point has been and continues to be the fate of the remaining hostages. And they hold a leverage. That's the Hamas leverage that it holds. The threat to kill all the hostages. Military action resumes. And many here are hoping, as President Trump has said, they'll be held to pay for what Hamas has done and is doing. But also there's many people here and around the world appealing to heaven for all the hostages to be free.
Yeah, Chris, there's so many players, so many leaders and nations involved in all that's going on in the Middle East. So what do we know about the Hamas response in the hostage negotiations that angered Witkoff himself?
Well, they're publicly saying one thing, that they're flexible. Privately, they're making impractical demands. Hamas is insisting that phase 2 starts and the end of the war, more Palestinian prisoners, more aid, withdrawal from a strategic corridor. But the U.S. and Israel are saying they want to extend phase 1 with more hostages to be released.
All right, Chris, thanks for joining us. And with all that's going on in the world, we also wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day, Chris.
Thanks.